Kong Rong was known as a quick-witted, elaborate poet, politician, and warlord. He was also known as Kong Beihai, after he was granted the highest-ranking executive official title within the Imperial Chinese government, and was assigned to be the Chancellor of Beihai Commandery. A famous story, Kong Rong giving up pears, is used to educate children in China of the values of fraternal love. Within this story, Kong Rong gives up his larger pear fruits to his older and younger brothers. When he was asked of his father why he did this, he replied, "I'm younger than my older brothers, so must respect them, and I'm older than my younger brothers, and so should take care of them." This model story of filial piety represents one of the most important values of feudal China and upholds the concepts of brotherhood and strong parent and child relationships. Ironically, Kong Rong would abandon these values as he did his family when he fled Qing. In his later life he said, "Why should a son be grateful to his father? The father does everything out of erotic lust. And is there really love between mother and children? It's like a container and things inside. As soon as the thing in it comes out, there's no relationship between them." Being a 20th generation descendant of Confucius and a recognized intellectual, Kong Rong became ranked as one of the 7 scholars of Jianan. This group included Kong Rong, Wang Can, Chen Lin, Ruan Yu, Liu Zhen, Xu Gan, and Ying Chang. Tao Pi coined the name Jianan, which refers to the unrest throughout Emperor Xian's reign. One of Ruan Yu's sons, Ruan Ji, went on to become one of the 7 sages of the Bamboo Grove. The Bamboo Grove movement would primarily use a poisonous, psychoactive healing drug and strongly supported individual freedom and choices. Their Taoist beliefs conflicted with the Confucian Jin dynasty of that time, but I'll get into this in their own video as there's a lot to talk about. Born in Lu in the year 153, like Confucius before him, Kong Rong grew up to be known as a quick and witty child. At the age of 10, Kong Rong went with his father to Luoyang to visit a relation of his, the prefect Li Ying. The gate guard of the mansion asked young Kong Rong if he wanted to come and play, but he denied, before he sternly asked that he goes inside and announces that Kong Rong is visiting. The gate guard could see he was serious, so reported it to Li Ying, who allowed them to enter despite currently being busy talking with other scholars. When asked of how the two are related, Kong Rong answered that his ancestor was Confucius, the founder of Confucianism, who was a student of Lao Tzu, the author of I Ching and the founder of Taoism, who also had the family name Li. Somebody present was unimpressed with this relation and stated that people who show promise at a young age do not necessarily grow up to be especially capable. The young Kong Rong snapped back with, "I suppose you were really smart when you were young then," quickly turning his own insult against him. Li Yang burst out laughing and predicted that Kong Rong would grow up to be a great man. When Kong Rong reached adulthood, he entered politics where he was very successful and quickly rose through the ranks. It was in the year 190, around when the anti-Dongzhuo coalition collapsed, that he was assigned to be the Chancellor of Beihai, which was once the most heavily contested area by the Yellow Turbans. He got to work right away, focusing mainly on repairing the damage done to the city walls and various structures. He dedicated much time and resources into setting up schools, whilst promoting Confucian ideas such as justice, kindness, and sincerity. He also organised proper burials for the deceased refugees in his domain, who had no family to look after them. Not long passed until a remnant band of Yellow Turbans led by Guan Hai lay siege to his city. Kong Rong sent his subordinate Tai Shi Si to seek help from Liu Bei, who was the prefect of Ping Yuan at this time. Liu Bei donated 3,000 soldiers to the cause, whereupon Tai Shi Si's return, the Turbans dispersed. In the year 195, Liu Bei then suggested to the imperial court that Kong Rong was promoted for his actions to be the inspector of Xing province, which was allowed. Unfortunately, as the nearby warlords looked to expand their territory, Gong Xunzan and Yuan Shou had also appointed their subordinates, Tian Kai and Yuan Tan, to inspect Xing as well. The two of them had fought to a truce a couple years ago, but this didn't stop Yuan Tan from seizing Beihai from Kong Rong in the year 196. Kong Rong's family was then taken prisoner, but he managed to flee to Zhuchang. Yuan Tan's expansion also soon drove Tian Kai from the area completely. As Yuan Tan was capable on the battlefield, but less adept with domestic affairs, he was welcomed warmly by the people to begin with. His appointed officials plundered the lands and accepted bribes. This undone much of Kong Rong's infrastructure. as during Yuan Tan's tenure, the collected taxes of Qing province were below 1/3 of the expected revenue. When Kong Rong got to Zhuchang, he was appointed as minister steward by Cao Cao, but would often conflict with him regarding his policies. On one occasion, the yield of crops was low, so Cao Cao brought in an alcohol ban as a punishment. Kong Rong compared him to the two final rulers of past dynasties who were overthrown due to their lust for women. He asked Cao Cao, "Why don't you ban marriage as well?" Kong Rong was punished slightly for this by losing his title, but was later reinstated, although it was a ceremonial title this time with no actual power. Kong Rong's charming personality and hospitality soon became well known. As a result, his house was always full of guests. During this time, he befriended Mi Heng, an eccentric, outspoken, and uncensored individual. Mi Heng gained fame when he wrote slanderous texts about the prominent people within Zhuchang, but at the same time praised the likes of Yang Xiu and Kong Rong. Mi Heng was well learned, but his love for offensive jokes and his unconventional attitude made it difficult for people to socialize with him. Some even questioned his sanity. He was recommended to Cao Cao by Kong Rong, who agreed to meet with him, but Mi Heng refused. This really agitated Cao Cao, but he refrained from punishing him as he had many great talents, one of them being drumming, so Cao Cao invited him to come play for him at a feast, along with other drummers who all had to wear a special garment for the occasion. Mi Heng arrived wearing his own clothes and refused to change, which led to him getting berated by a partygoer. Mi Heng then proceeded to slowly strip until he was completely naked, stood there for a while in front of Cao Cao, and then put the special outfit on, without showing any sign of embarrassment. Even after this, Kong Rong managed to set up another meeting between the pair, but Mi Heng was equally as impolite. He slandered Cao Cao through his doors, intentionally loud enough so he could hear it. Cao Cao decided to just send Mi Heng back to Liu Biao at Jing province. When Cao Cao was preparing for the showdown against Yuan Shao, Kong Rong spoke to Xun Yu, warning him of Yuan Shao's army strength and great resources, highlighting how difficult it would be to defeat him, but Cao Cao emerged victorious despite this fact. 6 years later, Cao Cao defeated Yuan Shang, then made arrangements to marry his son Cao Pi to Lady Chen. Kong Rong warned him of a past king who also married a beautiful consort to a conquered dynasty, but to his brother. This consort is considered to be the downfall of the dynasty she was married into, and Kong Rong did not want the same fate for the Tao dynasty. Cao Cao was impressed and asked for the reference of this classic quote, but Kong Rong didn't have one as he'd come up with it by himself on the spot. In 208, an envoy from Sun Quan arrived to meet with Cao Cao, where Kong Rong spoke out of place and criticized Cao Cao before him. Feeling undermined and embarrassed, Cao Cao charged Kong Rong with plotting a rebellion, slandering the imperial court, and disrespecting court protocol. According to two separate sources, either Kong Rong's 2 8-year-old sons or his 9-year-old son and 7-year-old daughter were playing a game of Go. An envoy arrived to announce to them that their father had been arrested. Kong Rong had asked the envoy to try rescue them by urging them to escape, but they answered, "How can there be unbroken eggs under a toppled nest?" It seems the children had already accepted their fate. This story later became an idiom which describes when a group suffers, all individuals belonging to it will be affected. Kong Rong's body was left in the streets after his family's execution, and not a single official dared to collect it for burial except a man named Ji Shi. He wailed and cried over his dead friend and questioned, "Now you have left me for death, whom can I talk to and who would understand me?" Kong Rong was considered a leading literacy figure for his poetry along with 6 others. Together they formed a Jianan style, which was characterized with depressing yet heart-stirring undertones that reflected the chaotic downfall of the Han dynasty and ensuing chaos of this time period. Cao Pi included 25 of Kong Rong's poems in his Discourse of Literature, where he comments that Kong Rong's words are elaborate but empty and without meaning. He states that Kong Rong's words cannot sustain deep discussion and even surpass reason, so much so that it could almost be considered as sarcasm or mockery. Unfortunately, almost all of his poems are lost, and I've only managed to find this one. From Luo to Zhu Weiwei, Duke Tao worried about the country's selflessness, less food and fat. The group led by Shi Shi, although I get a salary, I am always hungry. I miss my bitterness and sorrow. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.